Hey, what's up guys? Ray here from Gray's Dynamics. Today we're talking about motion, and more importantly, Vero motion. We're going to talk about whether getting a motion system is right for you and whether it's worth spending all the money it's going to cost you to get this all set up. So let's get to it. One, thank you to Mark and his team for collaborating with me and partnering with me to get this over to me at a really nice discounted price. Now, Mark, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to be honest to everybody and tell them what I really think of you and the setup. And I don't like you, Mark. I'm just joking, you know I love you. But seriously, with that being said, this opinion is my own. I get to have honest feedback and give you honest opinions of what I think about this. That doesn't mean I'm right, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just my insight, my opinion, and I may be right and I may be wrong, but we'll go from there. So with that being said, let's get to it. Let's talk about cost first, because that's the most important thing outside of driving. But if you don't have the money, then you can't have one, right? So let's talk about cost. They have two tiers, Champion and Legend. Legend just simply means 6 degrees of freedom. Champion is 3 degrees of freedom. And we'll have a little video to explain degrees of freedom right after we get through this, so you understand what I mean. But 3 degrees of freedom, they have the Champion at the bottom, the Champion GT, then the Champion GTR. Then they have the Legend GT, the Legend GT, and Legend GTR. Now those two different tiers just mean 6 DOF, 3 DOF. Starts at $5,500 for the 3-inch Champion, goes to $6,500 for the Champion GT, which is what I have, and then for 6 inches of travel and the actuators is $9,500. If you flip it over to the Legend system, the Legend at the base is basically the Champion with the motion platform. And then you have the Champion GT with the motion platform. Then you have the Champion GTR with the motion platform. And that comes to you fully assembled, ready for you to slide your rig and put it right on top and get racing. And it happens super quick. So again, definitely worth the price if you have $20,000 to afford the full 6 DOF setup. And they do turnkey rigs and they partner with people if you want to do that type of thing. But again, that's the price, $20,000 for the top end, $5,500 for just the 3 DOF motion setup at the bottom end. So a range of prices, okay? So let's explain degrees of freedom and what it means before we move on to this next section.
Degrees of freedom refers to the movement of head in space, or how we account for the head's position and orientation. The simplest head-mounted display offers 3 DOF, 3 degrees of freedom, which allows one to rotate the head in 3 planes, with pitch, tilting forward and backward on the x-axis, yaw, turning left and right on the y-axis, and roll, tilting side to side on the z-axis. 6 degrees of freedom, 6 DOF, come with more advanced head-mounted displays and 3 different movements: sway, move left and right on the x-axis, heave, move up and down on the y-axis, and surge, move forward and backward on the z-axis. The higher the number of degrees of freedom means the more one is able to engage with movement.
All right, so we talked about cost. Now you know what degrees of freedom actually mean. And on the 3 DOF in motion, it's a little different than their explanation, because what you're gonna get in the 3 DOF setup is you're gonna get heave, which is up and down. You're gonna get pitch, which is forward and back. And you're gonna get roll, which is going to do the rolling of the car side to side. Those are the 3 you will get in the 3 DOF. And then 6 DOF, you'll add sway and surge and things. You get traction loss and things like that you'll get on the 6 DOF setup, which again just makes it even more immersive for you as a driver, right? So that's what you get there. All right, so let's talk about the build. The build quality of them, absolutely great. One, let's talk about the speed and how they move. Because when you're racing in a game, you want to make sure that it keeps up, right? Like you won't want to make sure that these things are lagging behind the game. Well, then you're not getting a true one-to-one experience. I'm here to tell you that the latency on these is 2 milliseconds. So that means this is really fast and can keep up with every sim out there. And as technology gets better, as devices get better, trust me, things will get better. But 2 milliseconds, that's absolutely amazing. And it has 250 millimeters per second in speed. So that means the latency is really, really good, meaning there's very little lag, if any. And because it moves so fast, it can keep up with all the demanding parts that are happening on track. That means when you hit a curb and you see the curb, you feel the curb. That's exactly what you want and a build quality you expect. in the build as well. These are built high-end, these are industrial grade, so they have a weight capacity depending on which one you get, the 3, the 4, or the 6 inch, the Champion GT, or the GTR. Because the actuators are bigger, they can hold more weight. You really won't have a problem with either of them. Obviously, if you're 400 pounds and you have a rig, well, the Champion GT or the Champion may not be for you, because that only has about a maximum of like 550 pounds or roughly there, and I'll post it up here somewhere. But again, those are some of the nuances you have to worry about, but from a quality standpoint, it's very high end. It's powder coated and looks really nice on the aluminum. You know, everything just looks really glossy and nice. It says Vero Motion. Like, it's exactly what you expect a product to look like for as much as you spend on it. The cups are really nice. Again, I love the black, red, and with the white logo. As you can see, it goes really nice with my white rig, which is really cool. The mounting points can be mounted on top and on bottom, or if you have channels like I have on the side, it can be mounted on the side as well. So you have options there. I know a lot of the rigs are moving to a flat side. I'm good either way, especially since many times I use the sides on there for something to mount something. But again, you're covered either way. It again supports the heaviest of rigs, and I like the fact that it supports a traditional rig, because again, for me, that's what I have, and that's the most, it's the least cumbersome of things to have in my basement. So that works really well. In the box, as you saw me do in the unboxing, we won't go in deep detail, but all of the parts, for the most part, we'll talk about that later, were included. You've got your control box, you've got your 4 actuators, all the screws, nuts, bolts to attach everything, and all the cables, you know, came with it as well. But again, there's no separate box to put outside, which is really nice. I know their old Thanos system had a stackable boxes and you had to, you know, put them to the side, but this is all in one and it makes your life 10 times easier. So from a build standpoint, I think that's absolutely great. And it was not as hard as I thought it would be to mount it. I will say, when you do decide to mount it, if you can take the rig and set it completely on stands off the ground 4 or 5 feet on something, that would be much easier. You know, 3 or 4 feet off the ground. You can raise the actuators up, and he talked about it in his video, so that you can raise it up and then do some wire management. That can be done, but it's not as easy. And if you're on just a Champion versus a Champion GTR, which that's 6 inches off the ground versus the Champion is 3 inches, that means you'll have less room to maneuver to do wire management. And trust me, I flip mines on my side, as you may have saw in the video, and I'll tag it somewhere here. But ultimately, trust me, it definitely would benefit you to get it and put it on a stand if you can. If not, not super hard, as you saw me tilt mine over and do those types of things. But again, from a build standpoint, it's exactly what I expect for the type of money you're gonna spend, and this is a $6,500 setup, so it's definitely worth it to make sure that the build quality is good, and from my estimation, everything is. Now, Mark's very passionate. He believes this is gonna turn you into a real racer. Here's what he said to me just some time ago.
And I mean, I've been building turnkey sims for a while, and for me and my clients, it's all about simulating reality.
Correct.
We're not playing an arcade, we're not trying to be the fastest on a game.
Right.
We're trying to get ready for real racing.
Right.
And we're trying to develop drivers, give them as much immersion as possible.
Right.
So when they do the real thing, it's seamless.
Makes
and
sense.
I've been trying debox solutions, and I've tried debox solution setup, just like you did today, by multiple people.
Right.
And it just never connected. The road textures, optics in terms of curves, it's great.
It feels great.
But it's not worth 8K.
No.
It is absolutely not worth 8K.
Now, my driving experience, is that the most important thing? Is it me being a race car driver and feeling what it's like on track to be prepared for a real race day? Now, I've never been on a racetrack. One day I plan on getting on and having some fun, and hopefully using my sim racing to help me understand things like being on a real track. But I've never been on one. And I'm more about immersion and having fun. But for some people, it's about being the fastest guy on track. We do remember what was said about motion, right? Max Verstappen said motion makes you slower. Is that true? Is it really? I don't know. But I do know somebody who had an opinion on this, who's been on the track and raced in the sim and uses motion and was initially part of Vero Motion. Let's listen to it now.
those like beginners today at the booth that were like shaking the car, and you could see that the motion was actually punishing them. That would be great for them because it teaches them how to be more controllable, how to understand like the brakes.
Weight transfer.
Yeah, weight transfer. You see, like it helps them learn a lot, and it will help them up all the way until they get to the top 0.3%. It's still gonna help. Like I mean, what I'm saying is that motion makes you faster. It will make 99.8%, 99.7% of the population faster.
So we got to hear what Suelio had to say, and I agree. 99.7% of people will be very fast, right? Meaning you'll get faster than where you initially came in. Because there's nuances to driving a car that being able to feel it through your body as opposed to just seeing it through your hands changes. The upper echelon or the 0.3 of the top guys, they feel every nuance of the car through their hands. And they've practiced and honed this skill over a lifetime of sim racing. Now, to say that motion won't make everybody faster, well, Suelio makes a good point, which I didn't show in the video, that when you get to this point, now you're adding things that you should probably take away, right? Motion will make the average person or even really good person faster because you'll feel the car in a way you've never felt it before. But once you start adding motion, like he's driving in a race car, and when the car, he turns right, but the G-force is pulling him left, and he is trying to reach his pedal, and he talks about it. And you have to go and watch the video. It's a really great video, but he talks about it. And yeah, now he's having to adapt, as opposed to when you're in a sim, you're sitting static. And even if you're in a motion rig, right, you set your pedals up. Some people really come really close. I have them far apart because it's more comfortable, right? I'm standing here not with my feet close like this. I stand with my feet like this. So it feels really comfortable for my hips and things like that because I'm an old man, but hey, that's just me. But with that being said, right, like at the end of the day, motion adds value to helping you feel something you otherwise never would have felt. And my experience with driving it, as we have the video playing now, has been nothing short of really fun. I have been slow to start, but I don't get as much time to race as others. But I'll be honest, as I've been driving, the more and more I drive, the more I see, not only am I hitting my regular times, I'm now seeing a half a tenth hair, a quarter of a tenth hair, a tenth hair of me getting just faster because I'm now being able to put the pieces together. I personally, as a sim racer, need to feel it differently than somebody who can feel it through the wheel. And I don't have as much time to dive in and really get to hone my skill. So the more I can feel in a natural sense, like I'm actually in a car, the better it is at making me better of a driver. And I think that's the nuance. But again, to each person it's different. When I'm in my rig and it's elevated off the ground, when I step on the brake and I feel the pitch of the car move forward, now you can set it in the settings how much pitch you want. Do you want all of the travel or some of it? You can set it so it really mimics more of the suspension and haptics, or you can say, you know what, I want multiple, massive travel and I want no haptics, right? You have these ability to change these things in the settings. And these are the things that is great about Mark and their team. They keep honing the setups a lot. And in Simhub, what they've decided to do is change those settings so that you get the best out of the car that they feel. But there's a catch to that. And we'll talk about that here in the conclusion. So my driving experience has been good. It feels good. Overall, I was slow. I'm getting faster, but I play around with different sims. The feedback in different sims will vary because some sims put out more information than others. Some sims put out information faster than others, as we know, 400 hertz versus 60 hertz in iRacing. So things will change, things will muddy the water, but I'm here to tell you that those settings can be deviated and changed in many of the sims, and it does feel really good. You will notice at the end of the day that you will be slower because you're not used to this. Dial in the settings. Go into settings and practice. And in my conclusion, one of the gripes I have is Mark and his team, although they create setups for you, they create it more based on a GT style driving. Now, I don't know how to manage all of the nuances of Simhub. It's very complicated. It tries to explain things to you, but sometimes those things can be a little tough. So that's why I think Mark and his team, as a recommendation, should do a video on what this actually does, how it operates, right? Like how to go in Simhub and tweak it to the best of your ability so that you understand if you change this, it does this, right? If I go in and make this tweak, it does this tweak. So that's just me. I think, again, on their website, more information. Give me as much as I can. I've had people reach out to me asking questions, and the great thing is Mark and his team will answer any question you have. But because they're so busy and they're just flying around the world trying to make sure they build up their brand, you want to make sure that the customers that are trying to get your gear or have your gear aren't left behind. And because they're so busy, they're going to really have to stretch themselves thin to meet the customer demand as they grow. They have been taking more and more of the market, and as they get more and more in the market, that means it comes with more and more customer questions of those that you need to help that have it now and those that you're trying to get in the future. So I definitely would say that. Quality control, most things, perfect. I was missing some screws. And it's a very simple mix, right? Somebody goes and starts counting out screws to put them in packs, and they pack them into individual packs, and it says you need 20, and I got maybe 17, right? And those are things that need to be polished, and it's a small thing, but thank God I had some screws. I would hate to be a customer who spent all this money, got this really cool setup, and went to mount my actuator, and now I didn't have as much because, well, ultimately, I don't have any screws left. I had 17, I needed one for my last actuator, and to put it on, thank God I have a box full of just screws, nuts, and bolts, and T-nuts, and all that stuff. But to some, that maybe they don't have, and they have to go to the store, and once you get your mindset, you're gonna have this done today, that's one wrench in getting things set up. So I definitely wanna make sure that those things are managed. But from a racing standpoint, from a quality standpoint, I have no complaints. It has been fun to drive. Every experience has been new. Trying different sims, some feel better than others just because the nature of the sim, whether you do rally, whether you do drifting, all of those things, they just feel really cool. And once I am able to afford to get a 6-DOF setup, then at that point, then we do some real drifting because that's gonna be absolutely awesome. So with that being said, hopefully you agree with my points. I think there's, again, from a performance standpoint, these things are awesome. I think there's little things, the little things that make them perfect. The packaging was really good. Everything came packaged very well. There's no manual in the packets. And that's another thing I want to say. There's no manual. Like there should be a direction, like a nice little thick pamphlet of actuators, what you get in the box, how many of these things come, how to assemble it, directions on how to put all the pieces together depending on the type of rig that you have. If you need to contact somebody, what to do. Like there needs to be that piece, right? Like they've got the product, they've got the thing that feels great, but now it's all the little things that go into making the company amazing. And those little things that aren't there currently kind of detract and pull away from such a great product that I believe they make. So with that being said, hopefully you like this video. If you like my content, like, subscribe, follow. Obviously, motion's not for everybody, and I wouldn't tell everybody to get it because it's very expensive. And I think you should try everything before you buy it. And if you get an opportunity to try everybody else, please do, because take Mark's challenge, try everybody else, then come to Vero and see what you think. So that being said, thanks for tuning in. Remember, thanks for you continuing to do what you do. If you don't follow me, I'd like it if you did. If not, perfectly fine. But thanks for tuning in. If you want to get a discount, use my code down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.